What's going on, guys? My name is Andrew Eskandy. I go by Eskandy Sports online. Check me out on Instagram. And if you're new to my YouTube, I am a content creator in the GTA. I like doing interviews and really putting spotlights on all the Canadian talent, especially the ones coming out of the GTA. And if you are a subscriber and you're used to the channel, this video is a little bit different because today I want to help you guys make your own hoops tape. Now, of course, I will gladly take your money and make one for you myself. But since the season has started and you guys are looking to get your film out to coaches, I want to be able to help you guys, one, do it cheaply, and two, learn a skill. Because if you're going to climb the basketball ladder, you're probably going to have to send several hoops tapes out, and that can get costly, and it's just a good skill to have to do on your own. So without much more delay, let's get right into it. So the first tip I'd give you if you're trying to make your own hoops tape is to have some sort of log as to when your highlight-worthy plays occurred. This can be done really simply with a three-prong chart with just the name of your opponent and the date it was on, and the time when it happened, and what the description of the play was. So very simply, let's say you had a game on Monday, October X, versus Team Y. You'd write that down in your first column. Then you would write down the time in the game that it happened, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and just a description of the play. You had a dunk, you had a nice pass, you made a good defensive read, whatever it may be. But you want to keep some sort of log going. And this is going to help you save so much time throughout the editing process, probably at the end of the season or maybe towards the mid-season. I can't stress enough how frustrating this process is if you do this at the end of the year. You're gonna have, maybe 30, 40 games worth of highlights, and you're gonna have to go through each game individually and try to remember at what point you did what. The simplest way to do it is if you have a parent in the crowd, an extra assistant coach, or even do it yourself after the game. Just keep a log going of the play that you did, the quarter that it was in, and what the play was. The second thing you want to do is try to clip your clips right away and have a folder going. What does clipping a clip mean? That means if you have access to the game, whether your coach has a hard drive with all the game film, or you're able to rip it off YouTube or whatever, you want to start making the files as small as possible and have a folder going of you clipping just the specific part that you want in the video. I can show you how to do that right here. If you're using a Mac, there's going to be a trim option or a clip option. You want to make the portion of the clip just the important thing that's going to go right into your hoops tape, and then drag it into a folder, call it your game clips throughout the year, etc. And then give it a name, Player X Dunks. The third thing is just picking a video editor. Video editors can be very, very expensive. iMovie is fine. Windows Movie Maker is fine. You're just gonna have a straightforward highlight tape of the things you did well over the course of the season. It doesn't have to be special. Remember who's seeing it. It's gonna be a coach, it's gonna be a scout, someone who doesn't really care what song's playing in the background or cares about, the effect. So keep it simple. Windows Movie Maker is fine, iMovie is fine. Don't overcomplicate it and keep it free. Don't spend money. So once we have our folder full of clips and we have our video editor ready to go and it's time to actually make the video, you're gonna be grateful that you did the first couple steps, because now all you have to do is drag and drop all your clips down, and then you can sequence them however you like. But the first thing in your video should be your name, your height, and what class you're in. Maybe if you're going to an Ontario school, you're looking at Ontario schools, a lot of them really like to know your average. So maybe throw that on there if it's impressive. If you have a 65 average, don't do it. And also maybe do your homework. Tip number 5, when you're doing a video for a coach, just put an emphasis on the things you do well. If you're a 3-and-D guy, which is a premium right now, make the majority of your highlight tape you playing defense and you hitting threes at a high rate. Also, part of point 5 is to just not lie on your hoops tape. If you're not a three-point shooter or you're not a fantastic defender, work on that as much as you can. But when it comes to selling the team as to what you do, don't lie. If you can't hit threes, don't put 10 3-pointers in your mix. That's not your game. Emphasize the things you do well, because they're gonna eventually come out and see your game. And if they think they're getting a 7-footer that can hit threes from 35 feet out because they saw you do it twice, meanwhile you're 2 for 50 in the season trying to do that, they're not gonna be impressed, and that might actually hurt your chances. Just emphasize the things you do well. You don't need to lie. A bunch of teams need a bunch of different things. Your skill set probably fits somewhere. Number 6, keep the video a reasonable length. Chances are the coach doesn't have time to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes with you, so you don't have to give them all your highlights. Keep it short. I recommend between that 5 to 10 minute mark. Is 10 minutes really pushing it? You want to give them a sample of what you do well, because the next thing they're going to ask if they like your hoops tape is to watch a full game. They want you to send them a full game, which is point number 7. Have your best game on the ready. If you have an incredible game and you know it was recorded, ask your coach to save a copy. Or if it's going on YouTube, make sure you have a bookmark, or make sure you know exactly who it was, when it was, because they're gonna ask to see a full game. Number 8, add your mix to YouTube. It can't hurt. I know a lot of people have some pride issues with posting themselves on YouTube. I get it, but you don't know who's watching. You can put your tape up on YouTube, it has 10 views, and maybe it doesn't seem like that a lot, but that means 10 people typed in your name on YouTube and want to know what your game's about. And that's 10 people you'd have no idea about if you didn't put it on YouTube, right? So you want to make your highlight tape as accessible as possible, put it on YouTube, it helps a lot. And also having a YouTube clip or having a YouTube video that you can just link these coaches makes the process a whole lot faster. You don't have to send the tape to every single individual coach. It's a super time saver, and it's gonna be something you're gonna be happy that you did when it comes to sending out your tape to as many coaches as possible. If you are new to the channel, I have conversations on my YouTube with scouts, the people that critique your game, especially here in Ontario, and I have interviews with coaches saying exactly what they look for when they're trying to gauge a player. I have Dustin McTaggart, who's the head coach of Oakville Prep, who talks about the stuff that he looks for when he's looking to bring players into his school. And I also have John Curcio from Queens. Coach Curcio talks about more of the same stuff. How do you gauge talent? What do you look for? What does that process look like? How do you email the coach effectively? All these tips are on my YouTube. I'll put a couple links in my description as well. And yeah, now that's it. See ya.